I'm back. I'm Sammy. I'm talking about autism awareness, and today I'm going to talk about three different groups. There's a group that are parents who have children with autism. There are there's a group that are skeptical, don't believe in autism, don't think that autism is something that's real. There's a group that is just has lots of questions and really unsure about it, and sometimes it doesn't come off as inquiring, but more of knowing what autism is about. And I just want everybody to know that I'm not here to make anybody feel uncomfortable or to make anybody feel like what their thoughts are not okay. I'm just here to educate. Today I really want to concentrate on people who don't really think that autism is real. Um, Especially if you're a parent and you um, are speaking with your family members, and that's something huge. It's really hard to not have the support of family members because they might be old school, they may not know about autism, so they don't believe that there's anything wrong with your kids. They might just think that you're not being a good parent or you're not disciplining your child correctly. My children have all been diagnosed through the Kirsch Center in Rochester, New York. The Kirsch Center is huge if you haven't heard of it. Um, and again, everybody's on a different level. So when you look at kids on the spectrum, they might look like they might not have autism, but these doctors are amazing. They're not just going to give a label to a child if they don't have it. So I want to give suggestions to any parent who has family members who don't believe in autism. Just be open and honest. Have them spend time with your children. The more time they spend with their children, the more they'll see that there might be a deficit or that there might be something that's not right. The first person who usually I had a question from somebody already, um, how did you know that your children have autism? That was a great question. Even being a special education teacher, I had no idea. I just thought my child was perfect because he never cried. He never, we used to call him Mr. Serious. He never laughed. But um, when we went to the doctors, he wasn't hitting his milestones, and the doctor said, we think we need to get him checked out. So we made our appointment. It took about 6 to 8 months to get into the Kirsch Center, and they immediately diagnosed him with autism. And just for people who are wondering, they don't just diagnose you once and then walk away. You have to go back every year, every 6 to 8 months, to get your child re-diagnosed, or they could become undiagnosed with autism. They might come off the spectrum because of early intervention, um, or as people will say, they grow out of it. But again, there's always going to be difficulties. They probably didn't fully grow out of it. They might have social issues. So keep that in mind as well. But again, going back to family members who don't have it, I know it's devastating as a parent to be involved, um, or to sit there and hear family members say that there's nothing wrong with your children, that you should really, think about the way that you parent your child. Again, just remember that that person still loves you, they love your children, and they just don't want to see anything wrong with it. Back in the olden days, I don't want to say olden days, back like 30 years ago, they didn't have these disabilities. There was mental retardation, MR, or a lot of kids just had learning disabilities and they weren't even brought to the attention of parents. So they were just kids that struggled in high school. And even back when my parents graduated, they didn't have to graduate high school. They just kept going, and um, they stopped when they stopped. It wasn't a big deal back then. So there's a lot that's new that's coming up. So I just want to make sure that you know that you are cared about, that you're loved by your family members, but they don't really know what to say. So making sure that you're educating them, bring them to doctor's meetings, bring them to therapy meetings, have them come and sit with your therapist if you have a therapist at home, have them push into the classroom when you go in there and do visits, have them come to CSE meetings. One of my videos will be about CSE meetings coming up, and I'll explain the best way to go about CSE meetings that I've learned. But I just want to make sure that I do point across that it is difficult, and for people to really be aware and understand that when you don't have the family support or you feel like you don't have this family support, help educate your family. Um, a great way is through Temple Grandin, the movie. Um, I know that I can speak from experience with my mother. Um, Sorry, Mom, I love you. After she watched Temple Grandin, she was amazed, and she could see my sons in Temple Grandin, and she could really relate to it. So find a way that you can relate to it. There's books out there, there's movies out there, and just have them involved in your kids. My parents come to a lot of my races, and they're very involved in it. I'm very lucky to have parents that are very understanding and brothers and sisters. I'm one of 6 kids, and I have great support from my brothers and sisters with my kids because there are other grandchildren, nieces and nephews in the family who do not have it. My youngest son doesn't have it. So just again, be very vigilant of that. And if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask, and you'll probably see me again. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.